Tell me when you're recording.
Oh my god, I'm recording. What do I do, Acor?
Hey, Brad, real quick. Could you flash that light again?
Yeah, alright. Everybody tune in. Even if you're listening to just audio, go to YouTube. This is important.
Very
Oh!
So,
I just went blind.
again, just to reiterate from earlier, Windows 11 could take care of that for you, man. It has
Listen,
dark mode.
Don't listen to this guy, everybody. Dark mode is not worth Windows 11's hassle, okay?
I mean, I heard that there's a really new cool update that just came out. I mean, I'm on a Mac, so I don't know, but I mean, I heard something about it.
Yeah, whatever, man. Fuck Windows 11. That's this PSA. But in better news, the PTR for 11.1 dropped. It's actually been how many? 2 or 3 weeks now.
It's the second week of testing.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the second update this week.
We actually were playing it last week. We didn't record an episode last week, but so this is episode 4. But that was because Junior's PC exploded, and Anchor I forgot you tore something. You hurt yourself, so we couldn't do this.
Yeah, no, actually, I just sneezed and pulled a muscle. I mean, being over 50 is bullshit. I mean, growing up it just sucks.
It'll do that. Holy shit.
Just stop growing up, and you won't pull muscles when you sneeze. Noted.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Or actually, because I was driving and I didn't want to sneeze on my windshield, so I turned and kind of contorted myself a little bit. Don't do that. That was the fuck up there. It was bad. I swear. It's like I sneezed and I saw Jesus. It hurt so bad.
Now, what do you?
Sneeze and drive.
Yeah, what do you do when you're younger and that still happens? Are you just fucked?
Pretty much.
That's what Faun's position is. So that's how I'm going to introduce our guest for the week, because Crazen could not make it today. So we have one of our healers, Faunaire.
Ew, don't introduce me like that.
They are very mean to me all the time. As the raid lead, I don't think Faun has listened to me once when we're raiding. So this is going to be a fun potty. You know what I mean?
Faun hasn't needed to listen to you, and they still live. So
yeah.
But does anyone listen to you, Brad? Really, honestly?
A few people will, and then the funny thing is they'll die. So maybe I'm the problem.
Common denominator.
Yeah, but no one else is like Junior. Are you gonna lead? No.
Nope, because every time I lead, nobody listens to me. All right, so
nobody listens to you, and they're mean about it. At least when people don't listen to me, it's funny.
Yeah, we'll have an Abra situation where we're just stuck on Zascar because no one's listening to me. It's great.
Hey, good news is I'm not working at a fucking furniture company delivering their furniture, and they're working me until 11 at night when I started at 7 in the morning. What the fuck? That was terrible. Worst job probably ever for me. But I'm going off on a, maybe we could talk about jobs later, but we're going off on a tangent. We have PTR to talk about. We got 11.1. We didn't get to test the 4 DPS comp we thought about last episode, which would have been funny. We still can, but we haven't tried that yet. We'll report back to everyone on it. Tell you guys if we will be meta defining eventually.
We will test it. We can test it this week. All right, we will test it this week on the Theater of Pain on Tuesday. I think we get the three legacy dungeons: Theater of Pain,
it's theater,
the BFA dungeon
what
that I can't think of.
Motherload.
I don't.
Motherload.
Motherload.
And Operation Workshop.
And then Mechagon. Yep.
Operation Workshop. Let's go. Okay, but yeah. So early thoughts. The biggest thing, I think, for most people, we haven't really raid tested. We don't have a group to do that.
I have raid tested all of the bosses.
Yeah, we can get into that a bit.
So much fun.
Yeah, okay, we could get into that a bit, but let's hold on to that. The big thing I wanted to go over is the dungeon. Early thoughts on it. Faun didn't test it, but that's okay. They could just give us some
Yeah, don't
some
care.
so their thoughts on like what we're spieling. So an outsider will be like, "Oh, that sucks," or they think that's cool. So,
Yeah, but my takes are cooked, so beware.
yeah, because
Ooh.
they play Resto Druid, so everything they do is not fun. But yeah, I thought the dungeon was sick. I thought it was good. Maybe some tuning knobs needed, but we did the first time you introduced me to it, Junior, was a fucking +10. We didn't even try a 7 or a 0. You just threw me into it, and you were like, "Hey man, you got this."
It's bro. It wasn't that bad. Okay.
It wasn't, but I thought it was a good dungeon. I thought it was fun.
It is a good dungeon. Man, there's some packs in there. The Shredder packs and the Heal Absorb Mob packs. Those are gonna fucking suck.
Yeah, I think
Uh,
I think a lot of what this dungeon has is less kicks and stops needed, and rather it's just damage that'll happen, and you know when it happens. So, it's not like, oh fuck, I missed a kick and now we're all dead. And now it's like, okay, this is happening. I know how to prep for it, and
yeah,
or
like
it's
the,
just like a move out of this thing.
yeah,
Like
the Shredders are casting Shredation, start moving, right? Or
exactly.
the Heal Absorb guys are about to start casting the giant Heal Absorb thing, press a defensive,
Yep.
start getting ready to help get through the Heal Absorb. Everything is like very telegraphed. I love the swirly animations. Oh my god, they look so good. They're so
We
clean.
did it. They're perfect. It took
I did
forever to get new ones, but they're like now definitively when someone says I wasn't in that, you will know for sure because there's an actual outline on where the swirly ends and not this weird fucking low resolution
However,
brown
I have
swirl.
heard somebody complain about it. There are ads that teleport behind ranged players that have a frontal, and that frontal is not very defined where it starts and where it ends. Which could be fixed. But
Yeah.
we have swirlies. They look really good. I'm so happy about that. That's a W.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
What do you think?
I think on the run that we did, I thought it went really good, and that was even with. I mean, like the weird thing. I don't know if people are having a little bit of a try hard attitude even on the PTR, but a couple of times we had a person who would leave after things just got a little bit weird. I mean, obviously it's a brand new dungeon, everyone's learning it, and so we finished it with just 4-manning it, and I mean, I think the bosses are great. I think the lower priority on the kicks is a huge win, better visibility. And especially in my mind, that second boss, so the paired boss with the bomb mechanics, and as you guide him through the bombs,
right. I was trying to remember.
I thought that was actually one of the more fun boss fights. It's a really tight play field and with some very defined things. It could be a pub killer, but as far as from a reasonably good group, I mean the mechanics were fun. I just enjoyed the dungeon all the way through. I thought it was really good, and also even on the tanking side, I was. Disappointed, but just knew that it was going to be that way with the tier sets. That they're just really boring and pretty inconsequential.
Yeah, that's actually something I've heard about all the tank sets too. Is they're not great. They're pretty boring and like everything we talked about the first episode about them doesn't really apply. Like it's just they're not great. It's not fun. I mean, maybe Vengeance is the only exception because meta is offensive as well as defensive, but that's
We'll
it.
be honest about the healer sets. The insurance is actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and it feels a lot better. I don't think Holy Priest is going to be anywhere in the Mythic Plus meta. I think they have the worst set for Mythic Plus specifically. But Resto Druids, it's not applying insurance to people that are getting the hots. It can just apply to anybody when you cast a hot. And I found that out in raid testing today. I was just doing the normal, and I threw a rejuve on the tank, and I got insurance on my character.
What the fuck?
So it was really cool. It just has a chance to apply insurance. So that's neat. And in dungeons, I'm not sure. Resto Druid didn't feel too great. But again, I don't really play Resto Druid. But Disc Priest
So wait,
felt really good with insurance.
let's back that up. Resto Druid, which is usually always great in dungeons, it's less so with the set. You're saying?
I think the problem with Resto Druids is they don't have a guaranteed way to proc insurance. And all of the other healers do, which is great, wonderful. Actually, I don't know about Resto Shaman, but no one cares about Resto Shaman anyway, right?
Yeah,
But
just play
everyone else
DK.
has a way to proc insurance. So, like, I don't know what their... So I think their insurance needs to do more healing or have something that guarantees procs it more often. Like, Life Bloom is supposed to, but it wasn't feeling impactful in 5-mans. At least for me. But in Raid, it was... I could see the power. But it's definitely the weakest for insurance because they just don't have the guaranteed proc. Any healer that has
Yeah.
a guaranteed proc is feeling good. Does Priest, even though their proc isn't great because it's 40% after Powered Shield expires, it's still like it's a guaranteed way of procking it, and then you just heal more to that person because they have insurance on them. So it's really good. I really enjoy. Insurance is actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be. It is boring still, but it feels impactful, and it does a lot of healing. It's like 8 or 9% of your total, um, which is where I think it needs to be in order for it to be this impactful, or for it to be okay.
Well,
And
perfect.
as far as just on the tanking sets, real quick, I mean, I'll be honest, Vengeance, that just how busted it was, in that first week. Honestly, it was the most fun I ever had tanking. I mean, so maybe going back to Legion, as far as when Demon Hunters first came out, I mean, it was pretty fun back then. But I mean, just the play on the whole metamorphosis, just resetting everything like you cast it, that was impactful. That was amazing. Now, and I know it was busted because there was just a massive amount of uptime, but that was fun, and that just made me think that what, they're just not even trying to cook as far as with these sets. They're boring. And that's a little bit disappointing. I mean, we knew that the first round, as far as for the first season, was going to be, just because new hero talents and everything, they were taking it slow, but just really disappointed about how lame they are. They're just blah.
Yeah, I would say I tanked a bit too. I didn't, as Blood DK specifically, when it procs, it's usually actually in a state where you're already pretty healthy. Like, because when you get going as Blood DK and you're getting your death strikes and you're consistently keeping up like your aggro and like your runic power to death strike in the first place, um, you will rotate your cooldowns accordingly anyways, and then half the time, like, if an IBF, which is like their sets proc, happens, it doesn't change your rotation actually, because you're still playing like blood, like it's still just death strike, and you keep going. Like, yeah, you are tankier now, but it is in a position where you actually didn't need it, so it's like whatever, I guess. The idea I thought it would have had was you will feel more confident to pull more when it procs during a pack, but you have to consider like the other four players in your party. Like, do they have cooldowns? Did they get a jackpot, like a winning streak in insurance? Do they have cooldown? Like it was the opposite of what I hoped, and it felt whatever. I mean, like, a tank is tankier, sure. I mean, I'm okay with it. Like, but I of course, I do wish it was more impactful. But oh well.
So thinking about with Death Knight, I mean, is there anything as far as that proc instead of Icebound Fortitude? I mean, like Vampiric Blood or Dancing Rune Weapon. Do you think any of those would be more impactful, or do you think it's just blah?
I
If
think
it procs Dancing Rune Weapon, it would be insane.
if
Actually, I
it
think.
really does come down to like the button it procs. If it procs Dancing Rune Weapon, I think it would make Blood probably the most crazy thing, because they have their one of their hero talents revolving around pressing Dancing Rune Weapon, and it's already a powerful button. They'd go crazy. Like and maybe the problem is because it's Sand Lane DK I'm talking about. When you press it, basically your Heart Strike becomes OP, and it's like it does a bunch of damage, and you gain haste from it, and it can proc like a powerful minion guy. Um, if your set could proc it, you're just getting more uptime and then more guys, and it would just be crazy. But it's everybody just gets a defensive, which is like okay, I guess. I think it's just the buttons, like for a Guardian Druid, I didn't test it specifically, but It's survival instincts, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay. What button would you want it to be more fun, you think?
I mean,
A bomb limb.
For Guardian Druid?
Yeah, give him a bomb limb.
Give them slappy hands. Fuck it.
I mean, that would be pretty amazing.
Slappy paws.
So either, in incarnation, I mean, I think that would be great. I mean, obviously, I mean, that kind of, would mirror some of the previous tier sets. I mean, even getting 4 sets, that's like the Heart of Azeroth with the Vision of Perfection. I think that would be awesome. I mean, hell, even if it was Rage of the Sleeper, I mean, I think that would be good, especially since it's just more than just, the damage reduction. Instead of 50% damage reduction, it'd be 20%, then increased damage by 15%, 20% leech, and then reflecting, a percentage of the damage back. I think that would be kind of cool. There's just a lot of things they could have done differently. And then even on Monk, now Monk is in a little bit of a rough spot anyway. So I do think that, when it's proccing Fortifying Brew, I mean, that's kind of a little bit cheesy. But there's things that it could have done. I mean, hell, it could have, proc something like an Exploding Keg that, drops at your location, because there's a defensive, component of that, where it keeps people from hitting you for the next 3 seconds. It could have, popped, 3 seconds or 4 seconds of weapons of order. I mean, there's just a lot of things that it could have done. I would definitely, not think that, Invoke Nizao would be anything, just because that's just not taken by anybody, and it's actually just kind of sucks a little bit. But other than just like, oh, well, you take a little bit less damage, yeah.
You take a little bit less damage in a position you were already safe. That's what these sets do, even.
Well, and of all of them, actually, I think Brewmasters actually technically becomes, I think, the more interesting of all of them. And the reason why is because, so let me just scroll down to it so I can actually read it. So the 2 set, so you get Luck of the Draw, Fortifying Brew for 6 seconds, damage increase for 15 seconds for 8 seconds after that. And then the 4 set, your next 2 set casts of Blackout Kick deal 150% increased damage and incur a 2-second reduced cooldown, which actually is kind of cool. So when we think about at least the normal way that we play, so the Blackout Kick is just tied into so many things, especially if you have the combo strikes. So Blackout combo, it adds a little bit of complexity, because already when you think about it, in order to be really good at tanking on Monk, you're really trying to hit as many Blackout Kicks over the course of a minute. So it's like 13 or 14 a minute you're trying to get in. And now it's going to accelerate that a little bit more. So, but that does change the rotation a little bit. You get a little bit more defensive, a little bit more opportunity to decide what you want. You can have more uptime on brews. So there's actually some rotational changes and things that can come from that. So that's not horrible from that standpoint. Although it is going to kick up the actions per minute required in order to really make the most out of it.
Yeah, and that might be like the detriment of if they changed the sets like in the vision I want, specifically for Blood. Because if you did proc a Dancing Rune Weapon, yeah, you'd be running Sand Lane 100% of the time, but it definitely makes it harder to like capitalize on it, as I think that might be something Blizzard accounts for in this case. I'm not sure, but either way, the tank sets are fucking mid. Like, they're whatever. I mean, they don't have. I mean, I'm of the opinion they don't.
Agreed.
They don't have to be game changing, as long as the tank gameplay itself is fun, like as in like the mechanics for the tank. For me personally, like I and the boss fights, like example, Sire Denathrius Heroic. Not like it didn't matter what tank you were, the fight was just fun. Like that's just all I want.
So how did you feel tanking as far as in the new dungeon?
So I played. I didn't know what the fuck I was, because Junior didn't warn me at all. Like he was just like, just go, and and he was like, don't pull those snipers though, they'll fuck you up. And then I ass pulled them one pull, and everyone died. So
Dude, I told you those snipers were not to be pulled, and you didn't believe me.
Well, no, I
was
did.
like, why did you pull
I
them?
did believe you. I just didn't mean to do that. and it killed everyone. And then though I just lived for the next like 3 minutes on my own while everyone tried to keep running back and just dying over and over. But yeah, the dungeon was fun. I liked I think the first boss was actually my favorite, with the like constant ads and then like drops the lightning and then the crazy AoE she does and then you kite around a little. Like there's a lot going on, and as a tank, I was playing Blood, so I had AMZ. You know, you're pretty helpful because AMZ is like really good for the AoE she does, and I thought it was a cool boss. Now, we were 4-manning kind of because we didn't have 5 ourselves, and someone would just leave because they're, I don't know, they got places to be. This is PTR. We got to fucking hit 3K IO, guys. Fucking some stupid shit like that. And when I started playing Warlock, you were tanking instead, and it felt the same. Like, I still enjoyed it. You know, it was... I actually cannot remember the 4th boss. He had, like, this combo, and then you kited a lightning ball to a pool, I think. I think that one was probably the weakest for me, but I was dead the whole time because I suck. So I don't know. Do not take my judgment.
I actually told you how to do that boss fight. You immediately didn't listen, got stunned for 8 seconds, and died to a line.
Yeah. Do not take my judgment.
I told you how to do the boss fight.
Do not take my judgment. It probably is really cool. Or at least, like, alright.
It's a little bit of a... I think it's definitely the most boring of the boss fights. Once you, like, understand it. Learning it was probably one of the harder ones to learn. But it was definitely the easiest after I learned it.
I just remembered the 3rd boss in that dungeon with where it literally...
The tether?
Faun, listen. You're gonna love the 3rd boss. You know why?
Why?
Because you get sludge fist chains that don't kill people, and you could just pull people into mechanics, and it's fucking hilarious. Junior,
Dude,
how do you feel?
So the way this... Okay, well, the way this mechanic works is you get chained to somebody, and when you move too far apart, it slaps you guys back together. It doesn't stun you, it just slaps you back together. Puts you back, both back way halfway in the middle. So it's not like exactly sludge fist, unless that's also... I don't remember.
Yeah,
but
no, because sludge fist would kill you. But
yeah,
it
wasn't exactly
idea.
sludge fist, but yeah, the amount of times I've died or I've gotten somebody killed because, like, as a mage, or if you ever try to blink or do any kind of like super movement and the other person goes the other way, you both get pulled into the frontal and you both die. It's great. It's amazing. That boss is actually gonna kill pugs. The only way I can see pugs getting through it is if they like... Yeah, we're always gonna go left, always gonna go right.
They just
walk
mind
through the
game.
boss.
Yeah.
But like they have to say something beforehand. If you go to that boss in pugs without saying anything, someone's going to die. They're gonna get pissed off. They're gonna leave the group, and it's great. I think that's amazing. That's hilarious.
That's always great. A boss that
also,
will just definitively fuck up a pug.
Also, after watching the fight and seeing other people do it, the tank can bait the line away from the ranged. So if the tank stays, so if you guys, so you tank the boss on one side, like you just tank the boss on the other side, the tank can just bait the line, and then the DPS and healer never have to move. Because the tank will never get a line unless one of the DPS or the healer is dead.
Well, look at that.
So that's actually
cool.
what I'm most disappointed about is, you know, usually I tank, and so I'm not gonna, and there's not really like a line that I could aim at Faun, but I won't really have the opportunity to drag them into a mechanic, that may be the new meme for next season.
Yeah, we need a new
worry,
Xalatath affix that tries to just frontal Faun.
Don't worry, guys. There's a boss fight in the
April.
raid that has a frontal that the tanks can aim and kill the raid with. So that's great.
Yes.
Oh, thank God.
At least once or twice, Ancor's and Papa are gonna fucking kill the raid with whatever that mechanic will be. Doesn't matter what boss it is. We're gonna get to it, and the whole raid will die. But yeah,
Nice.
Dungeons of W tier sets. A lot of them are buggy, but like we initially thought, thankfully, the jackpot sets, which are all the range sets, those ones are great. I think they have been very fun. I loved the Warlock one. I only did like a dungeon with it, but it was sick just summoning a bunch of random fucking Dreadstalkers. And then pressing Tyrant and you just happen to have like 6 dogs out or something, and it was cool. I loved it. I didn't test melee. They did do some changes to them though, like Frost DK. Like when we were ranting about Frost DK in episode 1, they changed it. They made it better. I think it'll actually be pretty sick. I don't remember the patch notes. I just know Obliterate doesn't remove their winning streak now. So, nice.
No. Yeah, so I did level my DK on live so I could test them. I haven't tested Frost in dungeons. I did test Unholy. I'm not an Unholy player, but it kind of feels bad.
Really? Wow.
It actually wasn't feeling great. The tier, I don't know, man.
We'll have to let people smarter than us start cooking it up and be like, yeah, this sucks.
I did a poll of metery, and my pet got autoed because the tank didn't get aggro or something, and then I did negative damage, got kicked from the group, and it was great.
Yeah,
I don't think that's
It's not even
that
my
was
fault.
tank error, not even user error.
I can do to stop my pet from getting autoed, but my pet just gets autoed on the very first global. It dies instantly. I just summoned it because it's the start of a key, so I have to wait 30 seconds for my fucking cooldown for Raise Undead, which is ridiculously stupid, by the way. There's no reason that should be a 30-second cooldown for Unholy. Wait 30
because
seconds.
Because of PvP. Get
finally,
fucked.
Finally press it, start popping off, you see my damage start climbing, and the pack's dead. And then I got kicked.
You know what?
I did less damage than the Nog Evoker. It was awesome.
Everybody ignore what he just said. He didn't even have the main thing that made the set good out. Because the tank let it get fucking autoed. I don't even know how that happens. It's a pet.
Sorry. So we started the pack. I watched my pet get autoed. I didn't see my pet get autoed. I'm spamming my Dark Transformation keybind, and it's just not popping.
And you're like,
I look
man.
down at my pet frame, and I see my pet is dead. I look down at my Race Undead, and it still has 25 seconds on the cooldown. I'm like, that's cool.
Yep. Yeah.
Interesting.
Honestly, user
Unholy
error.
issue, by the way.
I'm sure Unholy's fine. Maybe. Someone smarter will figure it out.
I did try it in a Priory a little bit later. It felt fine. It just didn't feel like, I don't know, it didn't feel the way I was expecting it was going to feel. But again, I'm not like the best Unholy DK player.
Yeah,
so.
right. We'll see how things play out. But for now, I think we are moving in the right direction with the idea of these sets. Tanks could cook a bit more. Insurance seems alright. Ranged are sick. Melee, somewhere in the middle.
Elemental is cranking. Somebody on enhancement cooked some stuff up. Enhancement is doing pretty good now.
Yeah.
And also the enhancement cheer got changed a little bit. So that's good. I'm liking both of the not Fury. I like Arms' set. Fury's feels weird.
Yeah, well,
most of the melee sets are okay.
Yeah, I mean that's
most of the range sets I've tested have been really good too. So.
I think if everything is okay, it beats having stinkers. You know, like having like this tier, like a lot just kind of suck. It's like you don't even realize you have it, but you do, and it's a % increase, so I'm gonna use it.
That's my biggest issue. The only tier set that I felt I lost my winning streak on was Arms and Enhancement, because they both get a benefit when they lose it. And Arms, you just get to spam over powers into packs, which just feels really good. And then Enhancement I think it grants you Doom wins when it's at max stacks or something. I don't remember exactly, but they actually felt impactful while you had them, because you could feel the damage from like Mortal Strike and Cleave. Felt really good. And then after it wore off, you didn't get like super punished. You were able to spam over powers and do big damage and generate a bunch of rage.
Yeah, a couple are buggy too. I've heard like I think mages are just like their sets are broken. I don't know how, but
Good.
I mean,
Keep it that way.
it's early PTR. It's like early PTR stuff. Hopefully that'll just be fine by release and probably like mid-February or something.
I think Fires is working, and I know Arcane's is working. And I think they're all working.
I don't remember whose is. I don't remember whose is broken. But
bad.
yeah, I've heard about Frost. Something about like it just doesn't work with like the stats. I think Frost wants or something. So it's like okay. not great, but not awful.
Yeah,
either.
it sound. I remember reading that one and us being like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be crazy," and then like somebody smarter than us was like, "Yeah, this is terrible. Why the fuck do people think it's crazy? I don't know. It's ass."
It's point is, we are in the right. We're on the right path. Though that was not what Faun. I kind of wanted to ask. Junior mentioned that Druid isn't great in Mythic Plus as much with the set, but it's doing better in Raid. Is that Pog or Dog? It's like, because all you've wanted is for Resto to be better in Raids.
Yeah, I mean, I like playing Resto in Raids. I don't care about Mythic Plus, because, I mean, you can do any... I mean, you can literally get any class to, like, where I want to get, but I wanted to feel like not stinky poo-poo when I play the game. And when I swap characters, it's infinitely easier on a completely different class than it is on Resto Druid.
I don't know. I mean, I think Resto Druid's in a good spot. I've been watching a lot of people do testing on it. I don't know what the build is going to be. I don't know anything. When I was testing it, I don't know how to heal. I don't know how to raid heal Resto, so I wasn't doing great. But I was noticing that those niche things, like the insurance was proccing on people that didn't have HOTS rolling, which was really nice because then it would apply a HOT after insurance ran out. So it's just like free throughput, which I think will help the issues.
Yeah, because they gutted our like bonus rejuves that would like pop up.
Yeah, because you guys got a pretty hefty rework in this patch, I think.
We've been getting reworks. Every patch we get reworked.
I mean, no, this is a big one. Like every other time, it's like, oh, we moved this talent, you got a talent point here,
No,
and then they were like, hey,
really, we've also been getting reworks though.
and then they were like, hey, improved Sunfire, gone. You just get it in Sunfire now. Thank
Good
God.
change. Keep cooking.
Yeah, they're moving up.
So the real question is, Faun, is that how many more aura buffs do they need in order to be good?
I think they need to look at the class fundamentally, because there's so many issues with having a purely hot class when it comes to like needing spot heals in order to like keep a group alive.
So if you were the Resto Druid dev for a day, what would you do? What does that look like to you? What would make it
First
fun?
of all, delete Wild Charge. Hate that ability.
What the fuck?
I genuinely hate that ability. Honestly, I think that's all I'd do. Like
Wouldn't even buff the class by like 1,000%.
Listen. Well, no, because then that's like not fun. I'm gonna be real with
I'm
you.
sure that's how
I
Disc
like
Priests
the challenge.
feel. Disc Priests are like, oh, I'm just the best for literally no effort. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, well, Disc also doesn't have an interrupt, and
neither does like
little noodles.
Yeah. Well, no one likes priests. Sorry, Naka.
No, but honestly,
like that.
If I was gonna like change anything big with Resto Druid, it would just be like put more power into the HOTS instead of trying to buff like spot healing. It's not a spot healing class, it's a hot class.
I think that kind of comes down to the fight designs, right? Because there's a lot of instances where damage is just instant, so you need a thing that would heal them right away. Rather, when it's just like ticking rot damage, Resto really thrives because like it ticks once and then your hot ticks and it's just like a back and forth, but they'll be okay. And I feel like a lot less fights are rot type. Like an example I'll give is third boss in Halls of Infusion, where you hid behind the glacier. That boss did a lot of damage, but in ticks.
So much fun.
But it did him in like a really not too big of bursts of rot, like as in like the big AoE just that pulses while fighting. it was enough to be managed for a Resto Druid, like, perfectly. Like, that is what they thrive with. But a lot more fights are just, hey, this is gonna do a lot. Good luck.
So I think raid-wise, a lot of the dungeon, or not, a lot of the raid testing that I've been doing, a lot of it has been better, more rot damage. That Resto Druid will thrive in. A lot of the bosses have that, at least in the heroic testing I've done.
Well, see, we're moving. We're getting there. I think this tier was just not something Resto Druid favored. An example I'll give actually is Kaiveza. You know, she doesn't have a whole lot of rot other than when people have the Queensbane dot, and everything else was if you did the mechanic wrong, you're probably just one shot. Obviously, you could outgear it on
I think
heroic, but
a better example would have been Court.
though,
Like,
yeah, the
Court does
chart.
not favor Resto
What-
at all
what-
because
what-
everybody is so spread out.
Yeah, I mean that would be. Wouldn't that be any healer though? Because like range.
Well, no,
No.
not even range. It's like Resto needs to
Oh,
have people
right. Because
stacked.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
Resto
you're
does
right.
better stack healing
You're
than
right.
like most of the other
Yep.
healers do.
Yep,
That's why
Like, this
Bastion
doesn't
is
get punished.
tasty.
you're right.
Yeah.
I forgot. Even though I was trying to play
This,
Resto
this can
tier.
radiance and ramp whether you're all stacked or whether you're spread, right? Like they're still going to ramp.
Yeah, and it just comes down to like the classes, because like some classes are good with that. I just took 80% of my health and then I healed it in like one global, and then I
Yeah,
lost
that's like if you
80% of my
take-
health over 2 to 3 seconds, and then I healed it back in 2 to 3 seconds. So
That's where disc and Prez are shining, right? If you take
Right.
80% of your health in 1 second, the disc and Prez will immediately top you through a ramp because they're going to be ready for the damage. And Resto Druid is just because it's not instant and there's another tick of 80% damage about to happen, they're just not good right now.
yeah, that's exactly it.
But I don't know about for Mythic Raid, but I do know for Heroic, a lot of the damage that's been happening to the group is just like 5-10% raw. Like it's not like one shots. There are one shots if you're an idiot, right? But
Well,
um,
when you
a
mention
lot
like
of it isn't.
when you say a one shot, that's if you're an idiot. I imagine it's like you did the mechanic wrong, so of course you just died in
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Like
There's
that that makes like you should die if you do a mechanic wrong. But
So
it comes to like
I-
raw and damage that just will happen. Yeah, like that shouldn't be
So
too much.
this last PTR, this last couple days, I did 4 bosses. No, 3 bosses. We did I can't remember all their names. I know I did One Arm Bandit and Muggsy, and then I tested the boss before that, which is like a gadget boss. That boss I think is the one that's the least likely to be Resto Druid. There's a bit of spreading, and you're not stepping on there's things you have to step on, and you take a bunch of damage from bullshit. But then One Arm Bandit has a mechanic where it just applies a heal absorb to the whole raid. And it's pretty big, but like if you ramp slowly, but if you have the ramp going, you'll be fine. And then Muggsy, depending on which side you start on, because it's actually a fight that's whichever one you start on. One of those sides immediately does like a big chunk of damage over like 3 seconds. It's like half of your health. That if you start ramping right before the fight starts, Resto Druid is just gonna feel fine, like great, healing it through that because it's not lethal. It's just a bunch of damage all at once. But I think all those bosses have like, I haven't done all of the bosses, but those are the bosses that I see the Resto being pretty good. And I've watched like Dratnos has done his heroic testing already and has posted it, and like I think every single one of them had a Resto Druid healer in it, and they're cranking. And
Alright.
they're doing really good. So
I'm so glad we have a Resto main of fucking a decade or something. I don't know how long you've been playing Resto. It's a while though.
I don't know either.
You know, so since we're kind of on the topic of you know, like really bursty damage and then healing it off, I kind of wanted to jump back to the dungeon here where I was mentioning how the damage in that dungeon is less because you missed a kick, but because the dungeon or the damage will just happen. Acor, what the hell am I looking at?
What? You with
He's
glasses on?
reading.
Why are you having
happens
so
when
low on your face, though?
Well,
'Cause
because
he's
I'm looking
reading.
down.
Bro.
What happens when you're freaking old?
God,
What the hell, dude?
judgmental bitch.
Fred,
Bro,
you'll have to wear glasses when you're old too. So shut
I
the
have
fuck
to
up.
wear
He wears
glasses
them.
now. Just only
So
when I'm...
put them on, you fucking ape.
No! Because it's... No, I only have to wear glasses to read things from afar.
Man, I wish I just had to wear my glasses whenever I felt like it, dude. That would be nice.
I only-
it
I
permanently
only-
has to be on my fucking
I
face.
only have to wear
Because
them
you're
when I'm driving.
nearsighted.
That is my official patent pending Papa Dude look that my grandkids call me. With my glasses down like that as I'm looking and reading something.
Well, because the way you were moving, I was like, is he fucking tweaking? Like, what the hell? I was like, what is he doing? But anyways, but that distracted the fuck out of me. The dungeon, unavoidable damage. You don't kick it; it just happens. The issue I could see with that is when you get to the level 10, 11s, and 12s, because I'm going to be aiming for 12s next season, to the point where it might just straight up kill you because it's designed to happen and it might be too much because it's not tuned in a way like that can be like that's appropriate, I think. And or maybe it will be fine. I think there's a danger in having too many mechanics that will do damage to you, and it like you have to have your pulls will change because of it, because you're like, well, normally this would have been okay on a 10, but in a 12 this will probably just one shot us or just like kill your tank. Like what, like two double shredders, while you can just kind of avoid the shit, it might just fuck you in the ass.
Well, you hit on something that's really interesting. So the progression of difficulty. So I don't know. Yesterday I was feeling spicy. So my original monk, who was stuck at 70, I leveled him through the time walking, and Canada Nate was along with me, and he was leveling a character too, which was pretty cool. So we took advantage of that. But one thing that we were talking about was, like, for example, so once you get out of like time walking, obviously that's just kind of face roll. But when you get into like normal and then heroic and then mythic 0 and then mythic plus, one of the things that we were talking about was there's not consistent mechanics through all of those dungeons. So each one adds more of those mechanics. And then when you get into like twos, because like I'll be honest, all right, so I was 593 on my monk tanking a 2, and it felt as difficult as my geared monk tanking a 10 or an 11. I mean, it wasn't even a big deal. Everything was fine with that. But as people normally progress, as you think through that, there's not the opportunity to learn when those damage ramps need to happen, whether it's, okay, you need to do something defensively with the tank, or you need to avoid something as a DPS, or as a healer, you need to be able to ramp up that healing and to be able to do that, because something like that's going to happen. I mean, as long as people don't like try hard and jump right into a 10 on their first week and then start out slow with that kind of that normal progression, I think I think it'll be okay, because we'll figure that out. I would expect we're probably going to start with some pretty reasonably high keys when the season drops, and we're going to fail, and it's going to be okay, because we learn, we're just not going to do that again. Because
the hard way.
Yeah, well, because we're in voice chat, because we're hanging out with each other, because we're all we enjoy being around each other, or at least tolerate each other reasonably well. Then we're going to be fine with that. I think it's just where the no-comm pug life is where that really hits, and that really screws things up, because if people aren't communicating, don't have that opportunity to be able to do that, don't understand the mechanics or when that ramp needs to happen from whatever role that they're playing, that becomes that problem. Because I know that, I mean, like, with having Sim heal, or even Faun having you heal, or even Junior heal, whoever's healing, we have a lot more grace with each other when we make mistakes, and we just learn and get better. And there's not a lot of anxiety about that. But yeah, in the pug life, that's just a completely whole different thing.
Do you think like every player should start a new season intentionally at a key that is like, if I jumped into a +2 on my main at the next season, it's obviously not going to be hard. It's just a 2. Who gives a shit? But if you jump into a 7 right away, that might fuck you over. Do you think it's better, like, at the start of a season, everyone starts at 2 and then they go to 3? They make that slow climb intentionally rather than just knowing they could jump ahead, so they know the break point?
I think there needs to be a better rating system, and I don't think that just the IO score is sufficient. There's someone, and I won't mention who this person is, and they don't play with us that much, but they came along for a key, and they obviously have been hard carried all the way up to 10s to their IO score, just because of lack of doing mechanics and everything else like that. So IO score is just not indicative of a person's skill. Their item level is not indicative of their skill. I mean, there's tons of events that happen. I mean, we've all seen the add-on where something, some elitist person, it sparks up, whenever you take avoidable damage or you do something stupid or you miss a kick or something like that. Those metrics exist for Blizzard to be able to surface, and like, even as a tank, and in order for me to get better, I mean, I'm logging my runs. I'm going back. I'm looking at polls where I felt that it was a little bit sketch. I'm looking at my rotation during that time. But if we think about like a score of what is the success level of executing on the mechanics of that dungeon, and that's your score for that dungeon, so it's reflective of your ability to actually do that dungeon, that'd be kind of cool.
So you're saying, like, if you ran, I'll use like a Dark Flame Cleft, and only once, but you timed it, it would show you have 100% success rate, but only on, like, I don't know, a 3, right?
Well, no, I think it would be, so if you think about it, so say there's, like 12 specific mechanics. So say you're a DPS person, there's, 12 specific frontals that you have to avoid as a DPS player or use a defensive during that. And as an example, and there's, I don't know, however many kicks divided by, the players. And if you don't do your part of the kicks, and say you go through the whole dungeon with, just face roll W, no kicks whatsoever, then your score is lower. But if you do kicks, if you use defensives, if you avoid frontals, if you avoid boss mechanics, thinking like Stone Vault, if you really enjoy busting all 4 crystals right in a row and making it hell for a healer, well, guess what? You don't get points for that. But if you and your group do them one at a time, you get points for that. And so it's more reflective of your expertise of the dungeon and your ability to do that. And also, I mean, hell, it could give you, like, afterwards, you could get an in-game thing where it says, hey, here's where you did really good. Here's where you suck. Do this better next time.
So you're just saying doing mechanics should reward, like, kicks, dodging, preventing damage, maybe with, like, because you're a DK, maybe you have AMZ or something, like, should give a couple extra points at the end?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I don't know.
I
kind of fuck with that idea. That's not a bad one.
But then you're gonna have Overwatch stat board syndrome.
That would be funny.
Don't we already, though? I mean, come on. I mean, if you look at most of the high-end players, I mean, they go there and they're looking at their logs and they're logsterbating about how great they did on boards and stuff like that. So, I mean, come on. I mean, that already happens.
The fuck? I can't believe that. I'm gonna ignore that term he just made up, but
well, I think it's an accurate representation of someone posting their log.
You're not wrong. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna name names, but like we have log fiends here too. Junior is one of them. I
am in fact one of those people.
I will name him though. I will name him.
No. I'll take full, like especially as a healer. Right, like I'm gunning for them parts as a healer, dude.
We had
at 99 on Rashomon. I'm so fucking mad it's only a 99. If I was 2 item levels higher, that's my 100, bro. That's it.
We had an entire raid night of just Junior attempting to solo or double heal bosses that normally we would want more for it because he wanted to parse, and he parsed high, but because it wasn't 100, this fucking guy was unsatisfied. What the fuck? Like, you guys ever know that kid in school who would always pass his tests, really good grade too, and he was like, damn, I only got a 97. You're like, I hate you. Fuck you.
Right.
You're like,
The
I
worst
got
part
a
is,
68.
Dude, I was that person. Okay, you have to. Like,
I hate you. Okay,
well,
fuck
dude,
you.
No, I missed that one question. All right, there's always room for improvement. You can always do better. Always do better.
Junior, honest question: has lobster baiting caused you problems with relationships in your life?
With my guildmates, yeah,
Oh god.
I just get bullied relentlessly for it. I'm like, I don't care. I mean, I do care. Like, it'd be great, right? Like, because I want to show. I want to see my own improvement, right? Like, I want to
Yeah,
see that.
I mean, I get it.
That's what I'm
but...
looking at. And I want, like, yeah, I'm chasing that 100 prize. All right, don't get me wrong. I want that. All right, that would be such a good feeling. Does it mean anything? Really? No. But it'd mean something to me, right? Like, it'd be like, holy shit, I did the best in this fight.
I mean,
I'm fucking great.
here's the thing, right? Is that's all that matters. Like, if you feel happy with how you did, then that's great. If you feel dissatisfied and
I
want
definitely
to
shouldn't
reach,
feel dissatisfied with
well,
the 99 first.
I mean, yeah, I think like you're maybe reaching, but like for a more average person, like if they're getting even 70s or 60s, even, that's great. Like I think that's more than enough for like a heroic rating environment.
No, it is, right? 'Cause, like, don't get me wrong. The problem with 100 parses, especially like in heroics, or just in general, right? Like, people are just stacking for it.
Yeah,
like,
it's
they're
just
gonna
like
solo
it's
kill
just,
boss
yep.
fights.
It's just like mythic
like,
raiders that know everything, and it's like, okay, these fucking
they're just stacking, and they're going in with 28 unholy DKs, one healer, and one blood DK to tank it, and just going and killing the boss in 20 seconds. And so his healing is, on Rashnaud, if you kill the boss before they fly, like during the second explosion, right, your HPS is gonna be like 2.4 million as a Pres Evoker. Yeah, of course you're gonna look fucking insane.
Yeah, because the boss fight ended at your peak, so it looks like that's always why Unholy looks better at the end of a tier, because the boss is dying during their burst cooldowns. But actually, Blood or Unholy is like pretty mid. Like that's like, and that goes for any really, really bursty class. It's like because the boss died so fast, your DPS is just higher because there was less time for it to fall off because you had no cooldowns, which is a thing everybody should know about logs. If the boss dies at the peak of your cooldowns and you were number one and you were going fucking crazy, yeah, you're gonna have a really high parse. But if the boss took 8 minutes to kill, it's probably gonna suck. So, if any of our raiders are listening, or well, I imagine any of our raiders that feel like they're always underperforming, like, oh, the first kill of her Queen Onsurek Heroic, I parsed a 20. Why are you upset? The boss died. Who cares?
No.
Like, it's not a big deal. It only matters, like, if you're dying, in my opinion. Like, if you're dying all the time, then obviously, like, there's more than just, like, your damage that needs to be improved.
So I don't know about for other people, but like for me, I don't remember our first kill, but definitely like just doing re-clears as like mage and killing the boss, and I'm parsing blues and greens. I'm like, dude, I'm better than this. Like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I being like? That's my problem. Is I get into my mind, I'm better than. Like, I know that I can perform better than. I know that I can do more damage. What the fuck am I doing? And I just get mad about it.
I mean,
but that's definitely but that's just a me issue, right? Like, this is a skill issue.
I don't think that's like
about it.
Well, I would say that's a kind of universal thing. I mean, with how I was swapping between tank and DPS this tier, I really didn't care about my parses. I just wanted the bosses dead. But I mean, I get that. Even when I was tanking, I could get a bad tank parse, and I'm like, I could do better than this. What the fuck? Like, I know, like you always know you can, but then you didn't, and you're like, what did I do wrong? What the hell? And you start like really trying to dissect where it potentially went wrong, and you're like, was it the raid? Did I fuck up the mechanic? Did I fuck up my rotation? Because another thing about logs, if your team sucks and they have like a really scuffed execution, your parse might suffer for it because you will have to put in a lot more extra effort for it. Also, I'm going to use Silken Cord as an example. Krazen, he's always web gang. If he wasn't web gang, his damage would be much better because he doesn't have to worry about the fact that he has to trip the boss. So sometimes it's just, hey, I had to do a mechanic, so my damage was less because of it. I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. But, and I get it. I totally, if you think you can do better and you want to do better.
If he doesn't do the mechanic, boss doesn't die, nobody gets parses.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, that's just like the sacrifice you gotta make. And that's okay. But
Yeah,
I
also,
mean,
Krasen's mainly played like melee DPS this tier, not so much like ranged. So like, for me, whenever I was doing web game with like Ross, me and him didn't lose damage for doing it because we could just hit the boss.
right.
But most of the time, when Krasen was playing Evoker, the boss would still be out of his range, so he was still losing damage, but he wasn't losing as much as when he was playing Windwalker, right? Because he was just permanently leaving melee to do webs.
Yeah.
But like, that's why I don't like doing mechanics. When Brad's like, I mean, I know you like, I trust you to do mechanics, so just do the mechanic. I'm like, no, I want to fucking parse this fight. I've done the same mechanic 6 for every fucking week for 2 months, Brad. Let someone else do it so I can parse this one fight, please. Every time we get into a fight in late progression, or like in reclears, that's all I'm thinking. Okay, someone else can do this. Let me parse. And then I end up doing it anyway, and I'm mad whenever I look at my parsing shit.
Here's what's funny about that. The reason that you usually keep doing it is because the moment someone else has to, we're gonna wipe. Because they had never experienced it because you took. This is a weird example, but the Lords of Dread achievement, right? And Sepulchre of the first ones.
Oh yeah, I have no clue how to do that achievement. That's always Faun. No clue how to do it.
I have run that glory because I do a glory runs pretty frequently. I've done Sepulchre a good few times. I genuinely have no fucking idea what Lords of Dread's achievement is. I just know it gets done during the Among Us phase, and Faun does it every single time. I don't know what they are doing, but they did it. And that is exactly what some of these mechanics I give like to you, Junior. Nobody knows what it is, but you do, so you do it. And nobody has to deal with it. If I gave it to, say, Acor was DPSing for some reason, but he's never experienced it, he's going to be like, what the fuck am I doing? And he has no idea. And then we wipe, and he's like, what did I do? And he just doesn't know. And that's the reason I'm like, hey, man, you're doing it again.
I can't wait for you to do the one-armed bandit. Because, like, one of the mechanic of that boss is you get coins from killing these ads, and you press a button, and it rolls the coin into the boss. Okay? So, like, it's gonna be my job. I can already feel this. Like, I already know that you're gonna tell me. Like, I don't know. You're gonna be like, I have no clue what's already been selected. Junior, you just call out what selection to do when the ads spawn. I'm gonna tell you guys what ads to kill, and then I'm gonna have to be the one in range to grab the ranged coin and send it every time. I'm not gonna lose damage as long as I'm playing ranged.
No.
I don't know if I'm playing ranged this year yet or not yet, but
yeah,
I'm not gonna lose damage simply playing ranged. But like, it's gonna be my job to press the extraction button.
Now, you could also make the argument maybe it's a problem on my part as the raid lead, as maybe I should teach everybody what this does so you can have that freedom.
Nobody listens to you though.
But that
That is the problem,
it
right?
can be well, memes aside, it can be difficult trying to teach everybody what this thing does when I know you will know what it does. So it's like, instead of wasting time and teaching up to 20 people how to do this thing, I can just tell you, or maybe you already know how to do it, and then we just go. You know what I mean?
I mean, I am the one that does like all the raid testing, right? Every time there's raid testing, I'm in the PTR. I'm throwing myself at it. I'm like, let's see what's going on, see what the mechanics are. So like, I generally know the fights a little bit more than you do when they come out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. When they release you and even during like I know them to the level that I need to, and then you will be like, hey, check this tech out. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, can't wait for some of these bosses to come, and you'll be like, what the hell? Wait, we can do that? That's crazy. I'll be like, yeah, I got you, bro.
Yeah.
That's what you get for testing.
I'm kind of jumping here, but is Gallywix going to be tested or no?
No, Gallywix is not testable on any difficulty.
Okay. So I'm gonna have to
they-
do what I do every tier since because they started doing that in Vault and Dragonflight, right? Like that you couldn't test Razageth. Or was
yeah, I think Raz was the first one.
wait.
No, it was Jailer. It was Jailer.
No,
Jailer.
it wasn't just Jailer. It was you
was the
couldn't
last three
test.
of stuff.
Yeah, you
Oh,
couldn't
yeah.
test Lords, Ragallon, or Jailer. Which,
Yeah.
all things considered, Lords sucked. Ragallon and Jailer, really good.
Ragallon was a good fight.
Ragallon was
No.
insanely good.
I love
I
Dragon.
love Lords of Dread. You guys are just mad.
As funny as like
Mad
the
about-
Among Us mechanic is, and hearing in an interview Ian Hazakostas, the WoW game director, say Among Us is fucking hilarious. I hated the mechanic. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it.
We literally, everyone had to download the exact same weak aura in every single raid. Make sure everyone had the same one,
and
then everyone voted. And we just, it was fine. And then, or you just killed somebody because, Brad looks at me wrong, so I just killed him instead. All right. I know he's the tank. I know he probably isn't it. I don't give a fuck. Fuck that guy.
Point is,
But nah.
like usually they kind of can cook with like hiding the boss, and it's cool when you get to it and everyone's like, what does he do? I don't fucking know.
I definitely think moving to like hiding the last boss was a good idea. I definitely like the
whole
I like that. It's been really fun to just test like everything up to that boss, and then just like the last boss being a mystery for everybody. Like me and you go into the last boss every tier, like,
well,
what does this boss do?
well, yeah, that like this is what I'm saying. What I was gonna get to is every tier since they started doing this, I would go to the Race to World First VODs or just like any high guild and watch what they do on even just normal or heroic, and then I would just like apply exactly that to when we get to it. Because the first, usually now in our like our level, we can get to the last boss on normal, but then we're like, what the fuck does he do? We don't, because Farak, for example, we got to him first week, didn't know what the hell he did. Second day of raid, we actually came back and we one-shot it. If you guys remember that. I think that happened with Ansurek. Maybe.
Yeah, you remember Ansurek and where you're like, hey, let's all stand here and get knocked back so we can get the platform.
You're right.
Oh,
Yep.
God.
It's because the first day I didn't know what she did. I was like, let's just try it. And then I went and we finished raid. I went and watched the VODs and I studied the fuck out of it because by that point everybody had, done the boss and there was footage of it. And I'm like, we came back easy peasy, and I don't mind doing that. I find it fun. I like doing that. And then like I'll pull Junior. I'm like, hey man, I'm cooking. Check this shit out. And then he calls me an idiot and changes everything.
I don't come up with the raid strats. You do. I just do what I'm told. Okay.
Yeah.
You're like, go stand here, and I'm like, okay, fine.
Yep. But
I don't even do calls on the other platform.
yeah.
Inquors are Crazen's job.
Yeah. I'm
just there to tell you if the boss can die. That's it. If you don't think the boss can die, and I do, the boss can die. All right, that's all I'm there for.
Boss
To
can
be
die,
fair-
trust the suck.
trust the suck. Yeah. To be fair,
Oh yeah, and trust the sock. That's true. That was me too.
on Queen Ansurek when we wiped at 0.21%,
Listen,
and you
dude,
were just
I
in
told
the
you.
in the clip, you are yelling, "Just kill the boss," and I was too. I'm like, please, and then we wiped because we forgot an essence, and we were just like, fuck.
Well, we didn't know about we didn't know.
We
didn't
forgot.
fucking know anything about them.
Well, the thing is,
No,
I
no,
remember.
I forgot. I told
We-
you guys
we knew-
to grab the essence.
We
essences
forgot.
existed, but we had never seen them. Like we had never seen what they looked like.
Well, here's the
I
thing.
think one of them did get grabbed, and then one of them right next to me exploded because I didn't know what it was. And I honestly, I had tunnel vision on the boss because it
Yep.
was so low
Yep.
that I didn't even see it.
That,
And
that
when I
was
went and
just
watched
it.
the VOD and saw where it was, I was like, oh wait, I actually could have stopped the wipe and we could have killed the boss.
Yep.
But also, we could have just killed the boss and beat the check had we rezzed one of the two dead people.
Yep. And look,
So
bad decisions aside, we just tunnel vision because we were like, we're gonna do it. We got this. And
The worst part is I was like, hey, we have 2 people dead. Guess what? 2 B reses. Who we getting? and do you want me to use them? You know what our very intelligent raid lead said?
Listen,
Hold them.
my thought
We
process
could've-
was this is the furthest we've gotten with this many people alive, and the people dead might just die again. I want to save it for an emergency because we might get to a point people haven't seen the mechanics and we'll need it because like maybe this is the second tank like combo thing where you like run the ads out and then like the other tank's getting their shit kicked. Like they're figuring out like the rotations to use or their cooldowns to use there, and maybe one of them dies. You don't want a tank dead, so I was like, I want to be safe. Turns out
but we did
didn't
have
have to be
two.
safe, and it would have been fine. But
I think what we should do, like when we're in power like that, is just send the B reses, and if the tank dies, that's a skill issue on there.
you hear that, Acor?
Yeah.
It's on you.
No, for real.
Well,
Like-
you know, I will. Hey, I will own that. So absolutely, I will own
All
that.
right, you heard it, guys, from our main tank. If he dies and it causes the wipe we would have had on a kill, kill
I
him.
mean, I actually think that Anchor could have died with us having no B reses as long as he lived the first ad pop, and we probably still could have done it.
On the
Yeah,
wipe,
I think so.
in the
Have a
wipe,
DPS.
yeah. In the wipe we had, even if Anchor died, and if we rezzed one, the boss would have died. That's what would have happened.
Yeah.
But it was a
and we
bad
could've
call.
also had
And
somebody taunt.
yep, and you're right.
And Brad, you could have taunted. You could have taunted, Brad.
Wait, Anchor, it's backwards.
Is
I
it-
do like to make parses. It is backwards, but I can read it.
Oh, I'd like to. That's
Well,
funny.
okay, sidebar. Why I've been quiet is because I actually, when I put it up there, it actually looked like it was backwards, so I flipped it and made it all backwards in Photoshop as I was doing it. Freaking!
you got you baited.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, like, I don't know, man. There's some fun. There's some decision making. All right.
Yeah. I mean, side tangent aside, I'm excited for the raid. I mean, from what I have very little I've seen,
I'm
and
I'm
what
not
I've
telling you
heard
guys-
though, it sounds very fun. Like, I was actually just on the PTR before we started today. It's that goblin with the really long name, fucking Spocken Frauds or some shit.
Yeah, that's
I've
that was the
heard-
first boss I tested.
I've heard he's just Siegecrafter Blackfuse 2.0, and that sounds cool.
He's that's the first fight I tested that I was talking about. Very fun fight. I'm excited for. Ow! I'm excited for it. It's gonna be I think it's gonna be a bitch in our group. Like prog. I think. But I don't know. I did my hands exactly like that, Brett. So I appreciate you channeling that for me.
Yeah.
But it looks really fun. And the testing I did, because I just did with the whole group for all three of the bosses. And I unfortunately, I wish I had gotten into that group sooner, because I ended up joining for like the last 15 minutes of that testing. But there's some really fun mechanics. There's a bunch of bullshit that the boss does. They tested like a million things. They had a rogue take 2 of the bombs and died instantly. You also can't take the bombs
That's
too
gonna-
fast, or you just wipe the whole group.
That's
That was
gonna-
a fun experience.
That's gonna be Zen next to raid, because Zen's gonna rogue, so we got a rogue now. But we did lose a priest, but that's okay. We have Naka. Point
I'm
is,
gonna be real with you, Brett. Shadow
What?
Priest is looking pretty good. All right.
all right, maybe we didn't lose shit. We'll see.
I don't know.
Raid,
I might be
think
playing
I
melee,
think this raid is shaping up to be one of the. I'm really hoping to be one of my top 5s, because like the theme alone, I'm such a fan of. Like the whole, like the goblins, like their fucking wacky machinery, the goofy fights,
the best part
the
of
whole
raid, Brett,
gambling, like you're in a casino. It's so funny and it's hilarious. I love it.
I'm gonna be real with you, Brett. The
Let's
only
go
thing I'm ready for
gambling.
is for us to pull the first boss. All right. I'm not gonna say anything else other than that, because I don't want to spoil it. But I just want to see how many people die to it. That's all I'm saying. I'm so excited.
I'll probably find out what you mean when I start research on it, but I won't spoil it
Wait,
either.
I have a really important question though.
Okay. What-
Are there any bosses like Sludge Fist that I can kill people with?
So one-armed bandit, you can send the coins back across the room, and if they run over people, they get stunned for 8 seconds.
Anchor, you
But
better
you do
watch
wanna,
out, man.
but you do want to stand next to them while they're rolling because they give you a buff while they're rolling. I don't know if that's it. I'm trying to remember.
One-armed
Muggsy is
bandit.
going to kill people a lot.
Oh god. One-armed
Mug-
bandit is the slot machine boss, right?
Yes, that's the slot machine. That's the,
See,
the
like,
third
dude,
last.
it's a fucking slot machine. How is that not the coolest thing you've ever heard? You're fighting
but,
a slot machine and you gamble to get buffs and fight it.
No,
What the
no.
fuck?
Unfortunately, you don't gamble to get buffs. You gamble to find out how
Okay.
the fight is going, what encounter you're.
That's
And it also has a hardened rage, so that's fun.
well, every boss has an enrage.
Well, so it's like a 6 minute. Well, it's not a 6 minute. But once you drop below like 40%, the last like 40%, I think it's like a minute and a half. It's like 2 minutes, might be 3 minutes. If you don't kill the boss before he picks bomb, you're good. If
Well,
he picks bomb, and then his cast finishes, the entire group dies. I watched Stratnos wipe through it. It was great.
well, I mean that just the idea is so fun, and I really hope Gallywix is a good fight. Because this actually, going back to like the untested raid thing, usually the bosses are pretty good. The only one I'd say was kind of a miss was, I don't know. It's either it's a tie between Farak and Sark.
I don't know. I actually Sark was a great fight. I fucking
No. I say it's only
maybe that's healer brain.
No.
Maybe that's healer brain.
Okay,
Sark was a great fight.
Let me backpedal. Sark was good. It was just a little too easy. Like that's why I say like design wise, I think it was good.
Sark was a great fight. I love that fight. Maybe just because I was a healer, but that was a great fight.
Yeah.
Farak, I also enjoyed.
Also, healer.
It's definitely one of the harder.
Yo,
Fights.
Frog, go in the bin.
But yeah,
Farak started off really strong. I thought was super fun, but after repeated weeks of trying to get like all of us trying to get Fearlath and getting the guildies, like it was fucking pain. It was so annoying going at him every week, and it was like you fucked up the seed, wipe instant, and it's like god damn it, it got annoying.
So Junior, so far what you've seen, are there any fights that are like that, as far as just, one screw up and it's wipe, or is there just a little bit more forgiveness in this?
so one-armed bandit is the one that like if you mess up the combo machine thing, it's a wipe. If you mess it up one time, it's a 500% increased damage on the boss.
Well, I have a question. Is it hard to fuck up? Like as in
the group that I was in, the group I was in fucked it up every time.
Well, to be fair, it's new, but like, does it seem difficult to do?
They were doing the testing, right? Like they were limit testing and seeing what they could get away with.
My point is it
I
difficult
don't know.
usually?
I didn't ever get the opportunity to use the coins, so I don't actually know if it was easy or not.
Well,
From what I was watching from Dratnos, it looks like it's literally just an extra. You like once you kill the ads, they drop something. You walk over it and you press an extra action button, and it's easy.
all right.
And then you just avoid the combos. And then the combos are displayed for everyone to see behind where the boss is what you can still use. So it's pretty easy to see. But if you mess that up, that's a wipe, and that can be a personal responsibility thing. If you just walked over the thing and pressed your extra action button when you weren't supposed to, you just wipe the whole group. Muggsy,
For those
if
who
you
don't
walk
know,
into the Muggsy is the
second to last.
penultimate.
Yeah.
If you walk into your bomb and nobody soaks the circles on the blue side,
See,
then
here's
it's
the
a wipe.
Here's the funny thing. Everything you're saying, I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't know anything about this fight. Like
The yellow side didn't
there's a
have
bomb and a blue and apparently a yellow
Yeah,
side.
so
I don't know what the fuck
okay.
you're talking about.
So the boss fight. So Muggsy is split up into two sides, right?
Wait,
You have the Mug side
wait,
and the Z side.
Pause. Is this one of those fights you have to split the raid, or is it just like how the
No.
encounter is?
It's just how the encounter is.
Okay.
So the part so whichever side has more players on it at the start of the encounter is what it'll start at. You can
Okay.
pick which side you start on,
I
and then
like
both
that.
sides have separate mechanic. And then it's like Aranog. If he hits 100%, like it's like if the boss hits 100% energy on one side, it's a wipe. So if he lost the energy, and when you take him to the other side, he does a bunch of damage.
Aranog? Do you mean
Not Aranog, the other one, the other fucking
the
sport, dude.
Tauren?
Grim Toes.
Yes,
Yeah, Grim
yeah,
Totem.
Grim Totem.
I was
T-Rog.
yep,
Sorry.
yep.
I get those two confused.
No,
Really
it's fine. I was thinking back on
Oh, yeah.
Aranog, and I was like, what?
No.
But no,
sorry.
I know what you mean now. Okay.
Yeah,
I like
then you walk
I
to
like
the
that.
other. So then everyone goes to the other side, and both sides have completely different mechanics. One side is elemental focused, and you get walled in, and you can't wall in with the boss, but you need two separate. There's two separate soaks, so you have to have people split that, and then you can't kill the ad too fast because there's lines that have to hit the to let them out. And then the other side spawns bombs, and if you walk into the bomb too early, they detonate. And then if you don't soak that, it spawns like 4 swirlies. If you don't get into the swirlies, it won't raid. That side also has a giant soak that you have to do. It's a lot. There's a lot in that fight.
Well,
I'm kind of terrified of it.
I mean, it's a penultimate. I hope it's a good fight because
It was fun.
While I don't mean to cut you off, but while the end bosses seem to be pretty good recently, their penultimates kind of suck. Beside, like an example I could give an egregious example was Kel'Thuzad in Sanctum of Domination. He was such a bad fight.
Yeah, well, I didn't prog that fight. I never did that fight. I don't know.
Either way, it just wasn't good. Like I could tell
I'm
you more about
surprised
it
you
later.
didn't mention the burnt chicken nugget.
Burnt what?
Oh, Tendril.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't think he was
Tendril
bad.
was. I don't know, man.
I don't know.
Tendril was a DPS loss every time you had to fly. Okay, bad boss.
But yeah, but you got a damage amp. Like what?
Yeah, the parse
To the
monkey
shield?
says it's a bad boss because
To
you
the
have
shield?
to
The
boost
parse
damage.
Yeah, the shield. Your 2 minutes are coming up when you land.
Sometimes.
It sounds like user error to me, guys.
I
What
don't
do
know.
you-
It was okay, boss.
But yeah,
Tendril,
my
I
point
think
is-
Tendril's the only argument I would be okay with being a bad penultimate. I
Yeah.
actually enjoyed Silken Court as a DPS player. It was fun to get the damage amps.
No, I'm not saying they're all doo doo, but like
actually,
they're not
Diurna.
great.
I hated fucking Broodkeeper. That fight sucked ass.
That's
Okay.
yeah.
I hated that fight.
Okay, let's think. In Dragonflight, we had Diurna. A lot of people didn't like her. I get why, but as a tank, I loved it.
Echo was booty.
Echo as a tank also I liked, but everyone else I get why you don't like it.
Okay, no.
I get
as a
it.
DPS player, felt good. All right, when I was playing Shadow Priest.
No, okay then. Faun hated it because healer.
Although I did heal that fight mainly, right?
Oh yeah, you were
I don't
playing.
know,
Yeah,
I
you
did-
were a
I did.
holy priest, bro.
I forgot.
Did I hit that fight as a healer? I don't remember. I remember playing it as Shadow and as Warlock, and I enjoyed it as DPS. I don't remember how I felt
yeah.
about it as a healer.
At some tanks felt better than others. Like on Druid, it kind of sucked, but on Demon Hunter, it was great, and even on Monk, I think it was it was just fine. Just being able to negate the knockback as much as possible.
Yeah, that was fun.
Also, I only hated Broodkeeper because I played Warlock, and Warlock felt terrible that too.
Yeah, no, I get why Diurna was disliked by many, and I get it. Echo was pretty alright. What was
Tendril
right?
Tendril's mid. I think Tendril's in between. I definitely like Tendril more than I did Broodkeeper,
And honest,
but I definitely hated it more than Echo.
Tendril definitely weighs on what you played. Like, if you played like the bomber build for demo lock, you probably loved it.
It was fun with I remember playing.
If you
it was
were Unholy DK, which was still a 3-minute class, you probably hated it. You know what I mean? Because the only you would burst the first and then the third fucking platforms, and like the second one is just a big break, and that sucks.
I have a point for Tendril.
Okay.
If you didn't have a priest, dispels
Ooh,
cringe.
true.
Well,
Yeah. If you didn't, yeah, that's a good point. I forgot about that. I forgot all about the dispels. Holy shit.
Yeah, trauma is making you forget.
I remember doing the dispels. That was fun. I loved when we MD'd everything.
Yeah.
That was
I
good.
mean, so getting that set up and then doing it was cool, but if you didn't have it, it definitely sucked. Like,
Yep.
it was not impossible, but so much harder without it. Because, trying
I
to
thought they did a
direct.
lot of damage.
It did. And then sometimes you just got a hunter who disengaged from you and you guys can't get him. And then they die. And you're like, you fucking piece of shit. But,
Yeah, it's like I'm a healer, not a track runner. Thank you.
yeah, but then after that, it was
45-yard range.
we had Silken Court, and they were all right. They weren't bad.
I don't know. Like I feel like as a tank, it was probably a boring fight.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But as a DPS, yeah, it was a great fight. I love the damage. Like especially as arcane, like timing the ramps. That way the touch of the magi would pop in the burst window was really good. That felt great.
Yeah.
And then if I missed it, it felt bad. But like that was great.
So what I'm getting here is the key to a good fight for Junior is a damage amp is included.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. If I'm playing DPS, a damage amp. If I'm healing, I want like bursts of damage, so that way I'm not bored and I can heal and I can do shit. I was actually bored doing the normal testing, and I actually left after the first boss because I like
There's nothing to
we
heal.
were there was nothing to heal. All right, I was just full healing everybody, and everyone's just full, and I'm just watching my rejuvenations just tick down, and then damage would come out when the fucking holy priest and the rest of shaman are pressing their cooldowns. So there's nothing for me to fucking heal, even though I'm spammed rejuves the whole fucking fight. It was terrible. I hated it. I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah, guys, give him a minute, okay? But
hey,
wait, what do you got?
so
What do you got?
at some point, let's talk about the Siren Isle. Doesn't have to be now, but at some point.
Some point, huh? All right.
Did
I like.
you
I
want
like.
us to talk about the Mythic Plus dungeons we've already done, or just want to do Siren Isle? 'Cause we can do
No.
dungeons after next week.
We can jump into Siren Isle because we're at the point because there's still plenty of dungeons to test and
Yeah.
we can't really give much judgment on them. We judged
said,
what
I
we
only
could about the
did
PCR.
I've only done 2 dungeons that I could actually judge, so I don't see the point in really going there.
Okay, did he get really high pitched there for you guys?
Yes.
Why did he sound like he was on helium?
Hold on 1 second. I'm fixing it.
What the hell? Dude, he's on helium. What the fuck?
Hello?
Is there a voice
Hello?
changer? Is that something we can do?
Is that better?
Oh my god.
What did you just do?
So what happens? Okay, so my headset is normally wireless, but I have it wired in because I'm running through like 4 different computers. So I think the wire came loose.
That's so funny
all
that
of
it
you-
made you sound like you're on fucking helium, dude.
Please keep this
Dude,
in.
all of you
Please
guys.
keep
Oh,
this
yeah,
in.
no,
all of
I'm
you
not editing
guys
it.
just
Yeah, no.
sounded like super staticky whenever y'all said my mic did that, and I was like, "What the fuck happened?"
That's funny. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna have to send you what that sounded like. That was really funny.
Yeah,
Send
just
it
send
to
me
me
the
too.
just send that to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or you
That's
can just catch it
beautiful.
when this goes live. Yeah.
Bro, I click on the videos to give you an extra view, and I click like. All right, but
All right.
I click on it. I was here.
Siren Isle.
So how about we go around and let's give it a rating on a S, A. Yeah, just on the normal tier
Okay.
listing. So,
So-
what? I'll start with you, Brad. What do you
Oh,
think about
shit.
Siren Owl so far? That's weird. Okay, yeah. For some reason, it shut off turned it off my headset. All right, so Brad,
Oh.
you first. So, what do you think of the Siren Owl?
Okay, so first of all, that was funny. I could hear you the whole time, but apparently you couldn't hear me. But that's fine. We're back. We're back.
Nice.
I will edit that in post. But I don't
His
know
ass
what
has never touched the aisle.
that is like. That's the weird part about rating this. I have been on the aisle. I just don't like it. It's very.
I forced him there once.
I got the ring. I got the gems I wanted. I haven't upgraded the ring fully because I just don't care. But, I used it and it's like, hey, you did a bit more damage than you used to, but it's the same fucking ring. And I kind of forgot it was like visible on the character. Like I didn't even remark that. It was whatever. But the Isle itself is just fucking nothing. Like it's just a very, very watered down like hash on the Timeless Isle, which is just a bunch of rares, a bunch of random mobs. None of them do anything. There's a fucking currency that you get constantly that... Now, truth be told, there are a lot of cool cosmetics you can get, and I think that is what is intended to keep a lot of people busy. People like Faun. Faun collects all the time. But, unless they're getting removed, I kind of don't care. But, from my knowledge, none of it is. And if I want it in the future, I'll just go back and get it. It's just, and even the lore, and I'm a big lore guy. I was interested at the start because, there's like that weird crystal. They're like, oh, it's Beladar, but not really. And then I kind of lost interest after, and I didn't pay attention.
Okay. You clearly did not read anything that was on the Isle.
I don't know. Like the vibe of the Isle, like even though I would imagine it's because it's Coltirians and the Arathi, like I thought it would be shit I would enjoy, and then I don't know, I didn't vibe with it, so I kind of just stopped paying attention. And it also released at a point in the season where I'm not really playing it, so because like I already got everything out. Like this is just filler, it's just, and I know like they know that as well. Blizzard that is. It's whatever. I mean, Siren Isle, like the ring is whatever. I mean, there is that funny strat of no healers, Queen Ansurek. Everybody stacks the rings that heal each other, and then they just zerg the boss because their rings are all just healing you. That's funny, but that's like the only unique thing I've seen out of it, and I haven't gotten to do it myself. Also, it's kind of ugly. That zone sucks. Like, am I wrong? Everything's muddy and gross.
It's icky.
It's all gross. And then, like, everything's just, like, existing models of shit we've had. Like, nothing's new. There are the Naga, though, and I know that there's been hints about, like, Ajara. So that's cool, but I don't know. We'll see. I'd give it, like, a D rating, but from me that might mean nothing because
it does,
like, I just hardly interacted with it because I was so turned off from it, so that's why it's there. But to someone else like Faun will probably get to, because they've been making jabs at my points. Faun probably enjoyed it a lot more than I did. I mean, do not take my... Like, if anyone listening, or you guys even, enjoyed it, cool. There's no problem with that. I just didn't really like it. It wasn't for me. And I'm not the kind of person I think it's made for.
Faun, how about you? What did you think of it?
I thought that the execution of it was cool. For like 3 weeks. Because everything rotates, which is cool, fine, dandy, yay. But there's like not much substance on the island. Like if you do it for a consecutive 3 weeks, you've pretty much done everything. Like there's like 2 rares to kill from each rotation. Like a few cosmetics to get. Everything else is just like grinding the currency. But in the point of lore, there are these really cool hidden books that you can read, and it has so much cool and interesting lore about tide stages, Coltirian history, um, like the settlers there, like how they like had their lifestyle, the superstitions. Like it's actually pretty cool. The like lore implications. But this dumbass doesn't read, so he wouldn't know that.
I can't read. Little known
I
fact.
know. But I mean, like the ring, whatever, cool. That's great. We love jewelry. Um, yeah, the ring sucks. I think the only reason I actually like care as much about the island as I do is because it's like it's cool lore wise. It was also clearly supposed to be an expedition map that was never added in BFA.
Yeah, it
Um,
definitely was.
But other than that, it's like this is supposed to be filler, and it's like it's fine if I don't like it. It's fine if like it's not enjoyable because it's like a little sneak peek, or not even a sneak peek. It's just like it's to like tide people over.
It's bridging the gap because, you know, before BFA, or I'm sorry, Dragonflight. I don't know why I said BFA. We never got this many patches. You know, it was like, hey, here's the new raid, go do it. New season of Mythic Plus, go do it. New PvP, whatever. You know, like, Dragonflight, you had all these 0.5 patches, the 0.7 patch, and they had new stuff every time. And even in Dragonflight's case, we got Plunderstorm for the first time. It has returned again since about the time of
Plunderstorm, my
recording
goat.
this. Plunderstorm is probably one of the coolest things they've ever done, in my opinion. Mop Remix was cool, and you know, then like, and that's what these things are for. They're just to like tide you over, and I think that's
Oh,
okay.
I have another point. I absolutely love the fact that like, because you're mentioning like these small little patches.
Yeah.
It is such a good thing that they're doing these because it can add transmog, mounts, pets, a whole bunch of things like collectibles that people can get that have been added into the game but they haven't been obtainable.
Yeah. It keeps people that only really play WoW busier until the next like actual content really drops. For people like me, it's a whole nothing burger, you know. Like, so
I mean, it's good. It's good for role players who want to have access to like low
yeah,
fantasy
yeah,
transmogs that are like really easy because I know there's a lot of people who don't enjoy doing high-end content or anything that's like remotely fast-paced.
yeah.
And it's nice to be able to obtain really cool looking stuff by just, grinding out a few mobs.
That's kind of a point I want to jump to maybe a bit later, but Junior,
Sure.
we should hear your thoughts on Siren Isle.
Bro, it's let's see. All right, I went there, my main, and all of my ults to get the ring. Went back on my main, bought literally all of the gems, put them in my bank, swapped all my alts, put all the gems on, and then never went back, and only go back whenever I hit level 80 on a new character. That's all I've done.
And hey,
That's
man,
it.
that's it.
It's just, I don't know. I enjoyed it the first week. Going there, I was doing it on my warlock. Just kind of running around, did a bunch of quests. Went and did a bunch of the journal stuff. That was cool. I didn't read any of it, but it's like it felt like for someone who would care about lore more, I felt like that would have been cool. And then I just like never really went back. I don't really care. It doesn't. It just. I feel like
A nothing burger, bro.
yeah, nothing burger. I don't know. Like I pretty much felt like the same way with like the Forbidden Reach, right? Like I went there one time. But there's not like the vaults to make me want to go back. Like I don't. The only reason I went back to the Forbidden Reach was to go and do the vaults and go open the fucking doors.
Yeah.
All right, I got bored of that after 3 weeks. So like,
I got bored of
yeah,
that the
I did
first
this for
week.
one.
I hated those things.
It was kind of fun though. It was kind of fun to open all the vaults. I didn't open all of them, but it was fun
Yeah.
to open the ones I did. But like I don't know, it just got boring really fast. After the first day, I literally just never went back. I think I got one upgrade for the ring. and then not like the very first one you get, but like the second one that you get for one of my characters, and then just that's it. I don't care. It's highest item of 11 to get. And it's a nice boost for my ult.
Oh
I
God,
don't care anymore.
he's on
No.
helium
Oh,
again.
he sounds a little bit like a young Donald Trump when he does that.
You know what? I'll put
I
an image of him over his icon. And
just for those parts where my voice changes and fucks up.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
That's
God damn it,
evil.
But yeah,
So, and I kind of a mixed opinion. It's kind of a little bit of mix of all of what you guys thought. I mean, it's kind of a little bit of a nothing burger, but the one thing that I do appreciate about it is it's something other than nothing. I mean, in the past, we would, go through a long content drought, and so there's just wouldn't be much to do. So I do appreciate that. And the lore implications I think are really cool. The transmog options I think are really cool. And actually, even maxing out a character. So even like I did yesterday on my old monk. I took him in there, and in about 25 minutes, he had a max this week. I think it's 655 ring, and so that was done. I'd already sent him the gems and everything, so it was super simple as far as doing that. So it's not even horrible to be able to do that. But most of all, I mean, yeah, there's not a lot to it, but I do like that Blizzard put out something in addition to what we would have normally gotten, especially in previous expansions on the 0.5 or 0.7 patches. So Dragonflight has felt like that was an anomaly. Hopefully this is something that they're just going to keep cooking and doing stuff like this. I mean, I do wish, maybe it was a little bit more engaging, but even when they do something big, yeah, I mean, yeah, it was definitely, I think, a welcome addition. At least it was something. So that was pretty cool.
yeah, something over nothing. When especially really all you play is WoW. Good thing.
Yeah.
I want their remixes more often. I won't lie to you. I know Mop Remix was the end of Dragonflight, so it was like kind of a good time to do it. But like when season 2 starts to get boring, unless like the horrific visions revisited thing that I think was on the timeline for then is really cool. I just want Legion Remix now.
Yeah,
like just
totally.
please just skip that shit.
Absolutely, and even Plunderstorm, which by the way, that being back now is awesome. I have a handheld PC that I play Plunderstorm on, which
Oh my
by the
God.
way, so it's got the built-in controller and everything else like that. Dude, that is legit probably the coolest thing ever. I mean, that is
Do you have is it a Steam Deck or like a
no, it's not a
it's like
Steam Deck.
is
It's
a
the
knockoff
Asus
one?
the Ally X.
So
Uh,
it just plays WoW on it. And
yeah,
but it's
got
handheld.
well, it actually has Windows 11. By the way, this episode is brought to you by Windows 11 and its great new user
Ah, oh my God,
interface.
dude!
Dark mode file explorer, guys. Dark mode file explorer.
Like
keep it in mind.
somebody, chat, kill that guy, kill him.
Guys,
But,
don't download Windows 11.
Yeah, no, it actually is it plays incredibly well. I think in Plunderstorm I can set it like on like 7, and I mean you can map the controls super easily, and playing Plunderstorm on a controller is legit. I mean they really need to release that as a I don't know, man, like a Nintendo Switch game
Oh
or
man,
on handheld. I
Dude,
mean
dude.
like
honestly, like
Just
when
release
you
Thunderstorm as a separate game for everywhere
yeah.
else. I
absolutely.
fucking play that shit on an Xbox, dude. Because it would work on an Xbox.
honestly, just mentioning like handheld Plunderstorm sounded so cool. Like the controls would just work. Like it's perfect. Like there's not too many. I hate you because like I want to do that.
I want to plug in a controller and just play Plunderstorm now.
Yeah,
but I
you
can't.
can just lean back and fucking kill some idiots, dude. Like it's great.
Legit, you guys, if you haven't tried it, you totally got to. That's like one of the things, like hook your computer up to your TV screen, sit back, with the controller in the living room. It is fun as hell. Probably, honestly, the best thing that I've ever done as far as in World of Warcraft, as far as just fun, just mindless doing stuff. It is really good.
Yeah. But nerf Celestial Barrage. Fuck that button.
Nah, dude, okay, I fucking just one-shotting people. Just change them into a root, Celestial Barrage, press Star Bomb, they're dead. It's over.
Oh, I
GG.
hate it.
I won.
I hate it.
It feels so good.
Barrage hits me from across the entire map, and I'm like, who hit me? I don't even know who did that. It's so... Oh, God. Point is, man, what... I don't know what else they could do, because it seems like they want to do more modes similar to Plunderstorm, and, like, obviously they'll do more remixes. Probably Legion up ahead. But, like, the Horrific Visions Revisited, I imagine, obviously, it's just, you know, the visions we did in BFA. But, like, what twist could they even possibly put on it? Like, because originally I kind of didn't like them, but I know a lot of people said they were good. And me personally, I just don't know what spin on, like, these events could be to make it fresh, like, almost brand new. Because Mop Remix, it is just Mop, but it felt entirely different. Plunderstorm is a whole different game mode. Like, I don't know. Like, and they seem to want to continue to keep doing that. And I'm excited for it.
As you were saying that, I mean, I was thinking that one thing, I mean, keep like on the Goblin theme. I mean, so imagine if they would have taken the dev time instead of Plunderstorm, it would have been Tinkerstorm. So something Goblin related or something like that.
Man.
And in like Undermine or something like that, and that's where you're playing or something like that. Dude, there's so many freaking cool things they could do. I mean, yeah, it would be amazing.
I feel like Plunderstorm has set this like small, like, it's not necessarily a bar, but like they have a platform now that they can use for other. Like, it doesn't have to just be Plunderstorm every time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's so many things that they can do, and they can
Actually-
just do them for every like these content droughts that we're in. Like
Yeah.
we're waiting for more content, and like key pushers are like enjoying the last couple of weeks while the PTR is out, and we're, you know, all I even care about anymore is logging into the PTR and just testing. I'm leveling characters just to test out new specs, to see what I want to play next year. Hey, that's all I'm doing on live.
Yeah.
I feel like more maps and more themes for Plunderstorm would be really cool.
I'm plugging a video I made for Hero, but it was why Plunderstorm should stay. Everyone should watch it and then share it with everybody in their entire bloodline and promote it. Different, like, it doesn't, I understand from an art perspective, it would be much harder to continue to redo Plunderstorm, but different maps, because they did talk about using Drustvar as the map instead of Arathi Highlands.
Yes.
They talked about just different themes, and then they settled on pirates. Like, just imagine Plunderstorm, but instead it's Drustvar, and all the buttons are Drust, Druid, and like Witch themed. Do you know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know how Drustvar would work because there's like really
Well,
high
yeah,
and low
obviously,
places.
like
It
what
would
they
be
said,
hard.
what they settled on was good. Like, I understand why they
Wasn't
didn't do
it
it.
Stormsong Valley though?
I don't
Like,
remember.
I thought it was
I think
Stormsong
Stormsong would
Valley.
be fine.
Yeah, I mean, like that's my
There's-
point though.
there's
There's a lot of like cooking they could do here, and I want to see. Me personally, I just want Plunderstorm as a permanent game mode. I see the problems in it being one, but I'm willing to look past it because of what I want. But I know
It would
it
be
probably
fine,
wouldn't
maybe
succeed.
with it not being a permanent thing, but like just release it
Semi-permanent.
like exactly when they're doing it now, right? The
Yeah.
end of the seasons,
Yeah.
just release it, so we can all like at the end of the season we can still play WoW. That's what we want to do, but I don't want to fucking go hit.
WoW,
There's no reason
Fortnite.
for me to go do keys,
Mhm.
right? Like, well, why do I need to do keys? I don't even give a fuck about doing weekly keys for like my Mythic Vault for me anymore. I don't give a fuck about my item level. I've done everything I've wanted to do. I have KSH. I don't care.
So here's the big question though. All right, would you spend additional money to support something Plunderstorm-esque? So whether that was like, you know, some kind of microtransaction for that, like you could buy new maps or new transmogs or things like that. What do you guys think about that?
Uh,
I would be okay if they made Plunderstorm a standalone game, and it was like $20, had a slightly different launcher. I would buy it, like in a heartbeat. At $20 in my bank account, I'm buying it immediately. If
I
they did something
mean,
like that, it'd be fine
like
with
I
me.
was saying, like I could see the problems with it being its standalone. Um, because even now, it's not even been a full week with it being out, I think, and the amount of people queuing is a lot lower than when it started because the amount of rewards given and like I'm glad you could get the old ones, even though I
Mm.
have them all. But if you have them all, getting the new ones it was really fast. Like I already have them all. It's not even been a week. Uh, so and that's actually applied to a lot of people. So what happened was now they're just not playing it because they got what they wanted, and there's no reason
Because
to keep doing it unless you just really like it. And I am one of the I will like I have it all. I'll go play some more fucking after this if I want. But when like the problem
yeah,
is if it's out too long and people get what they want, the queues could take long because I know it starts even if there's not enough people after a certain time, but if you're playing duos but there's only 10 duos out of the potential 30, it feels a lot more empty and that would not be as fun. The chaotic craziness is kind of what's so fun about it is like you land and everyone's just fucking going scrambling for loot and it's great. But I'm not against it being
well,
permanent because I would still play it. I just see the
I
issues
think
with it.
like the issues with it is like there's a Wowhead comment under someone who made a guide for it, for like just getting their blunders fast, and they just went off on a tangent about how it's the worst thing in the world. They hated it. All they wanted was to collect. They hate PvP.
Yep.
Why does it have to be PvP? Why can't it just be PvE? Why can't we just go and kill the, and just throwing a giant fit over it. And like obviously that person wasn't the target audience. Obviously that person wants the cosmetics from it.
Yeah.
And I get that that was frustrating when it was the renown system, but now like it I okay, to be fair, me and Jeremiah were playing like 6 hours one night. It got all the cosmetics, and we're just chasing people down for kills. We didn't get a win, but we're getting 9, 10 kills apiece each game,
But
just having a great fucking time.
yeah, it's just
All
you're
right,
having fun.
like I don't give a fuck. Like I would have preferred to have won some games with him, but like I just want to kill people. I don't give a fuck. And if you're one of those people that didn't want to play and you just hand me a free kill and then you're throwing a fit about it in our head chat that typing, oh man, this
Started cutting
I
out.
don't care.
But
Cool.
well, I mean, I got it. Fuck those guys. First of all, I think if you're gonna throw such a fit about a mode that you don't play, uh, like first, then don't play it. Oh, I want the cosmetics. You don't actually even have to engage in the PvP anymore. Really, you can farm a lot because the mobs respawn now, and never see a single person. It's good. It's
Literally
good
click.
like that.
Also, now it's even better now because you can press M before the match starts and pick where you want to go. Just click
Yeah.
one of the green areas,
Yeah, and then you
All
just
right.
farm. Yeah.
and you're like, and you just go and kill the level 1 mobs that aren't elites, and just stay in that one spot
Yep.
until the storm kills you,
Yep.
and then you're done.
Yep.
And you get so much plunder for doing that. It's insane.
I played it like trying to avoid everyone, but I go to the red areas just because I mean you can level up faster and you get a lot more of the currency for it. But I would go in there, and then anytime someone was trying to kill me, so like my game was to not get killed by them, and so that was seeing how long I could run away. I mean, I'd pretty regularly make it till under 10 as far as just trying to avoid and not getting killed by people, which I thought was kind of fun. So that's what I enjoyed about it.
In my experience of playing Plunderstorm, if you actually want to win, it's just to play like that. Play as safe as possible. Don't take fights, and then just wait for the last 5 people to start a giant fight, and then just third party them all. That's how you win Plunderstorm. That's how I won my solo game, and I got really mad because I was like I wanted to be a part of every single fight, but if I ever jump in there, I could get targeted. They could all just focus me.
Yeah,
You
that
know?
that is
So,
it's
like,
a very universal thing in Plunderstorm that you will have a crazy brawl and barely make it out, and then some dickhead who was watching you the whole time just comes in and presses Searing Axe and kills you, and you're like,
Junior
Yep.
looks up
"Fuck!"
from behind the tree and's like, "Aha, I got you now."
Yep, and every time,
yeah.
every time, and you're so mad, and it's like, well, I gotta go again,
Bro,
and
just
then you
chilling there,
kill
just got
again.
a kill, and then he just sees.
He's
Hello?
a, hello.
God. I just pull you into a star bomb, and you're dead. And you're like, "What the fuck, man?"
Yep, and it's infuriating. But then you're like, well, I gotta go again. So then you can go
It's
again, and then
but
you
like,
queue.
yeah, no, it's addictive though, right?
Yeah.
Like when I
Yeah.
lose like that and I drop like 8 kills, I'm like, I'm going back in.
You're like, I could do better. I could still win. I got 8 kills. And then you fucking go in and somehow do worse, and you're like, fuck. But then you go again.
You just queue again.
Yeah,
It
it's
just,
great.
I
It's
just
great.
can't stop.
It's so.
I had
it is so
work
fun.
8 o'clock in the morning. I was up until like, and I was like, I don't want to go to bed because this.
He's so pumped up about it. He's cutting out.
I'm just talking too fast. My
Yeah.
mic is like, bro, slow
Well,
down.
the point is, Plunderstorm's great.
Hmm.
And these breaks of patches, or I mean seasons, these patches are good. Um,
So what are we gonna have on deck for next week for our talk? What are we gonna try and look at this week? What are we gonna get everyone hyped up about? Something to look forward to.
oh shit. What the hell is
What
happening?
was
Well,
the
we
topic
have-
that you wanted to talk about, Brad?
Oh, well, we could touch it really quick. What I was gonna say is, because Faun, you mentioned like how, a lower end person or like a role player, they only play the game to maybe role play, so like that faster paced content is not for them, you know. Do you guys think it's cool that they have the option for things like Siren Isle to get, or even just like the end game in general? Do you think it's okay that these people that aren't as good as you at the game to get the same rewards you had or have, even like, but for like lower effort, but it's later in the season, so it's like it doesn't really matter. Like,
I don't give a fuck.
yeah, I feel
I
like
think it's great. I think it's great. I mean, Dells is a great example of that. I mean, someone who could play the game at their own pace and be able to experience stuff. Yeah, I think it's great. I think that's actually one of the cool things, and I think that really Blizzard really needs to embrace. I mean, hell, I'm in my 50s and I've been playing for a long time, and unless they do something that attracts, a lot of younger people, we all are going to start getting older, and with changing tastes or changing skill levels and those types of things. But the game being accessible for everybody in some form or fashion, and anyone who's sweaty about that, in my opinion, can just, they can fuck off. I mean, honestly, so I mean, yeah, I think it's really good. I mean, I know that that's one of my wife's, biggest complaints about the game is it's gotten too fast and too hot and too heavy as far as,
Yeah.
Mechanics wise. But I mean, she gets on and she does pet battles, or she does
My
very
goat.
low key chill stuff. I mean, I think she has like, I don't know, over like 4,000 pets or something like that. And she collects mounts and she does things like that at her own pace, and that's great. And because WoW can be different for different people, I would be afraid if that WoW would be losing its soul if it didn't, have activities and things like that to support those types of things.
I think that's
I
why.
think that's I think it's a good thing. I agree. I think it's a good thing. I don't think someone should be punished because they're not as good as another player, right? Like, that's not really. I don't want to say like it's not fair because I get the world's not fair, but it's a video game, man. You can set, especially like later in the season. Like, who cares?
Yeah.
Why does it matter? None of this shit's gonna matter.
Even with things like KSM, and a pretty achievable thing, because it's not hard. It's like all sevens. For people like us, not difficult. But especially later in a season, you could easily just carry one guy on like a stacked team, and that guy sucks, right? But then he has KSM by like the end of the week, and who cares, right? Like, I mean,
my take on this is I think that stuff like that should be evergreen. Because like take back like 14 years whenever ICC came out, the first person who got invincible was probably like a really good player. And you have people now, still in 2025, who are farming Invincible and getting super excited about getting that drop. And I feel like it's a good thing to keep those things around as incentive to go back to those old things and to play old content, even if you are physically unable to like play to a higher level than just reaching max. And that is completely okay. And I think it's great that there are so many things that people can go back to, even if it's like, I don't know, 10 times easier than it was getting that initially. Like, another example for me, as somebody who has the Mage Tower appearance for BM, I played during Legion. I got gear during Legion. I went into the Mage Tower and I one-shot it. No mechanics, no brain, no bitches, no money, no home, no family. And there's no prestige in doing that. The only thing is I played during Legion. And to be a new player and seeing really cool weapons or transmogs or mounts and being like, oh, that's so cool, I would love to have that, just because it looks cool and not because it's, oh, this is like the hardest mount to get in the game. And I feel like if there were ways to go about, like, say, getting Keystone Master mounts ahead, like from past seasons by reaching Keystone Master in the current season, or the same thing with like PvP, or just anything that people who aren't as good as the majority of the player base to go and get those things so that they can, you know, just have them. And I think it's fine to have your moment of glory with items like a Norlos. And then a few years down the road, like, more people are going to have it, and of course it's going to lose like the special factor, but that doesn't matter because you still had it when people didn't. Just because more and more people are going to get something doesn't take away your achievement for it. And I think for people who are new, people who aren't good at the game, for people who are disabled, it sucks to be gate kept from something because you are physically incapable of doing it. And it sucks to see something that's cool that you just can't get. It's not a matter of like, oh, I see Invincible, I want to go get Invincible, so I have to farm it or I have to buy it off of the black market. It's still permanently going to be in the game. It's just a matter of going and getting it. But with Mage Towers, with elite PvP appearances, Glad mounts, challenge modes, Keystone Master mounts, like,
a good
you just can't get
example.
those
A good
anymore.
example is Krazen actually recently. He went back and did Sanctum, and then he got Vengeance. Sweet, you know, like,
Yeah, that's awesome.
like, but obviously, like you were saying, if you had Vengeance at the time, like you had it, even because I know you bought it in season 4, still really cool to see it, and it was, you know, like, if
No,
you had
I
it,
think I got mine in season 3.
well, either way,
It
it
doesn't
was
matter,
cool.
but
Like it was cool. In season 2, especially, like, yeah, everyone's like, "Damn, this guy's sick." But then now, if you see someone with it, you're like, "Damn, that guy was sick in Shadowlands or got lucky." And either way, you're like, "That's a
yeah.
cool mount." You know, like Chrome King Gallywix, like that, the big G. That mount, if I see anyone on it, I'm gonna be like, damn, this guy is fucking cool. Because I love that. I really do want that mount. But if I don't get it right away, who cares? Like, it'll still be there. I don't know
But
why
I mean,
Blizzard
I'm
retains...
saying this.
Wait, what?
I'm saying this from like a collector standpoint too.
Yeah.
Like, you're giving an example of like mythic mounts stain, because I know what you're gonna say.
Yeah.
Mythic mounts stain, but glad mounts go, and those like. Listen, as a collector, I love collecting things, and I know other people also like to collect things, and to not have access to things feels terrible. But it's like, I understand, like, you want to have prestige, which is where titles come in, achievements come in. Because another example, Veil Strider. Veil Strider was an achievement for completing the Shadowlands, essentially. And it just gave you a title. And the title is permanently gone, but the achievement is still in the game. But it doesn't reward the title, it rewards a mount instead. Which I think is really cool to add, like, cool things for people who played during that time in terms of, like, titles and stuff like that. But if I'm being real, I don't care about the title. It's cool, yeah, sure, whatever. I don't use it. I just did it because it's like, yeah, like, why not? Let's go ahead and get this done. But it's like, it doesn't matter. Like, I would personally prefer people to experience the joy of getting something to drop or completing that really hard challenge, like the Mage Tower. It came back, and it's harder. It is so much harder than Legion, but they're still like, we're not gonna add the weapons.
Right now, actually, I think it's like, because they did that weird.
It's bugged.
Right now, it's not that bad. Like, but like mechanically, it's the same, and mechanically then is what was challenging. But gear-wise, at the end of Legion and now, steamroll. You know, like, if you do it mechanically right, you will not be fighting the boss for like 10 minutes, like when it released in Tomb of Sargeras. But yeah, I don't know why.
And it's like, again, I don't care if people get stuff that I worked hard for at like such an easy rate. Because, hold on, of something, world boss mounts. World bosses were so rare, and then boom, Blizzards completely broke world bosses.
Boom, Evoker.
And then Blizzard's like, you know what? Let's let's throw them a bone. Let's like up the drop rate. As somebody who got the Solar Spirehawk and Undasta with the original drop rates, that's great. I'm glad that more people can have access to these mounts because they're cool. I don't care about rarity. I don't care about popularity. I don't care about, oh, I got this first try. Like, I'm so much better than you. It doesn't matter. Just let people be happy. Blizzard, if you're listening to this, give me elites, give me glad mounts, give me challenge modes, and give me mage towers.
Absolutely.
But let me work for it. Thank you. God bless.
All right. You know what? That brings me to my point. Anchor was saying, what should people look forward to? We'll talk more about Blizzard's FOMO and their obsession with it, I think, next episode. I think that would be good. They have a weird obsession with
Please let me come
FOMO.
back for that one. Oh my god.
We'll have Krazen
You
here,
guys just
hopefully.
let me rant for this.
Like, here's what will happen. We'll have Krazen back, hopefully. Faun might be here, and the other three of us can just AFK, and we'll have a 3-hour podcast by the end of it. See you guys.
New dungeons, more raid testing.
Yeah,
for the new patch.
I want to touch that FOMO, not in a weird way though, but you know.
I
maybe
wanna touch
That
it.
was kind of weird.
Well,
Yeah.
Ian had it
well,
coming.
I mean,
I'll-
you know, as long as you get permission to touch their FOMO and you ask first, then that's okay. Consent's important.
It is, guys. Consent is very sexy. Sorry,
You know
Ross.
what else is sexy? Blizzard. Fix your game. Thank you.
I don't
You hear
know.
that, John Blizzard?
Yep, John Blizzard, get on it.
Yep, absolutely.
Fix Arthas. Fix Halls of Reflection. Fix it.
You guys have any closing thoughts?
Nah, I'll see you next week with more dungeon testing.
All right.
Yeah, can
And,
I dungeon test
hopefully
Halls of Reflection?
raid testing.
Yeah.
I don't know what raid testing's left, but
Well,
I'll be
I
back
mean,
with it.
either way, we'll tell you if everything sounds fun or not, you know, and what to look forward to. So
There you go.
this has been episode 4 of the Podcast of Tranquility. Goodbye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, guys.